Pot Sucree is a European cookie dough, and it's very different. It's like a sugar cookie, but it is different. I'll explain that. The first step is that we're going to use, well actually let me tell you the ingredients. We have a pound of soft butter. We have 4, and this is room temperature, but our eggs are cold. We have 1/3 of an ounce of salt. We have a pound 4 ounces of powdered sugar, and we have a pound 15 ounces of flour, all-purpose flour. The first thing that we're going to do is to get our paddle put on here. So we're going to put our paddle on our, did I do that? All right, we're going to cream this. And if you would look in the bowl, you would see that I'm just spreading the butter out. And I'm going to put the salt in. And we're going to take our rubber scraper and scrape this all down on the bottom. Now, this is a sort of a different method. Usually you make cookies via the creaming method, where we add the sugar right after the butter. What we're going to do this time, however, is add the eggs 2 at a time and whip it in. It's going to be a little curdly and everything, but we do this, and I find that the eggs act as an emulsifier, and they keep all of these things in suspension, and the dough is less likely to ferment, which means spoil. Very fresh eggs and very cold. So if you look in here, you would notice that the mixture looks really curdly at this point. I'm going to stop the mixer again, and I'm going to scrape inside, because you have to help the machine along a little bit. It's just a machine, and so you have to use that human element to get what it is that you want. Show the machine who's boss, actually. Okay, and I'll add another, and the last one. And again, you're going to notice that the mixture is curdly, but that will disappear. Alrighty, so again, showing the machine who is boss here, because we need to take some butter off the center here, because you want to keep it all well mixed. Okay, our next step is to mix in the powdered sugar. And the reason that we're mixing in the powdered sugar before we add the flour is that we want a tender cookie. These cookies are going to be rolled very thickly, but we want the cookies to be tender, so we're adding the flour in last so that we don't develop what is called gluten in the flour, which is the protein that causes the structure. Sometimes that's a good thing to develop it. In the case of cookies and desserts, it's usually not. So we're going to do this slowly at first so that we get this, so we don't want it in our face. Powdered sugar is made with cornstarch and superfine sugar, and a lot of people are wondering why it tends to go all over the place, and that's because of the cornstarch. But you just have to show it again how to control itself here, and just keep this clean. All right, and at this point, this is not a very stiff dough, so I'm going to raise the speed of the machine and beat this until it's smooth, and it will turn a lighter color, and we're really beating these eggs in very well, and the sugar, so it's completely homogeneous, or the same. Okay, now I'm scooping again because we're going to add the flour next. And when you use the bowl as your scraper over here, you want to be sure that then you take that and you push it into the mixture, because you want it to be well mixed at the end. Okay, the next thing now, we're going to add our all-purpose flour, and here is where it becomes a dough. So we're going to add a little bit, low speed. Start this mixing because we don't want it in our face. And then we'll add this here. This is a lot of flour, but this is what adds the structure to the cookie. Now, pot sucree is different from a sugar cookie because there is no leavening in here. A leavening agent is something like baking soda, baking powder, that causes the product to rise. We don't have anything in this. This is a dense cookie dough that's very versatile. You can actually make tart shells out of it, which we'll do at a later time. I'll show you how to do that. So now you're looking here, and you can see that before now I'm going to add this, you can see the difference. This dough is drier now. Okay, so we're going to incorporate this in here, and what I'm going to do is I am going to, again, use the scraper and get way underneath, because when you're making cookie dough with a machine, chances are the top part of the dough is not the same as the bottom. So I'm trying to help it because we want all of our cookies to have the same texture. And you really, as you're making these cookies, you don't really, again, you don't have to go to the gym, because some of this takes a little bit of strength here. This is a lot of cookie dough. Okay. We're going to continue. Whoops. I'm going to do this here. Okay. And we're going to make this into a smooth dough. It's going to start cleaning the bowl if it's made properly. All right. We don't want to mix it too much. Okay. And then we'll let this sit for a few minutes so that the flour absorbs any moisture. But as I'm looking in here, I want to show you what I'm looking at here. Okay, on the very bottom, you'll notice that it's not the same. So this is what I'm going to bring this up at the top. And this happens with any cookie dough that you make in a machine. When I had my bakery, we would make cookie dough in 80-quart mixers. And we would have to go through the same procedure, because you want all of the cookies to be the same consistency. So we're going to knead this into the top part of the dough. We'll just put this in here like this. Use our hands here a little bit. Okay, and we're going to mix this some more. All right, beautiful. Okay, now we're going to remove this paddle. And we're going to use a bowl scraper to help us with this. Right here. Bowl scraper is a very handy item to have in your kitchen. I'm not wearing gloves for doing this, because I am going to be baking this. So if I were handling a baked cookie or a cookie that I was going to decorate in the commercial world, you would wear gloves. And I take that practice to my home kitchen because I think that we don't want to spread bacteria. I use the professional techniques at home. That's why I'm wearing a hat again.